Hi there, it's Kevin with GatheringMagic.com here with match number 4 with the Deploy the Gatewatch deck. Yes, we'd like to play first. I'm going to keep this hand. It has 2 lands. It's got a double Oath of Nissas. So definitely a keepable hand. It has Servant the Conduit, so either Arlinn Court on turn. Earlier. And at this point, we do want to take most likely just the planes. Botanical Sanctum is unnecessary. The planes can get us to the deploy. I would like Nahiri. Nahiri, a turn early would be pretty decent. But I want to guarantee the land drops. And yeah, we'll take Nahiri. Might be a mistake instead of hitting that plains. But next turn we can go serve in the Conduit. And then hopefully just naturally draw into a land. So to the Aether, this is some sort of energy. Hopefully it's not the fast energy deck. This is definitely not a good matchup for us if it is. There's a Chandra. And there's Servant. So, if we can get a land next turn, we will have the early. Yeah, so now, just to be safe, I should have taken that plains. Would have had an Arlinn out. Most likely going to be the Naya Aetherworks Marvel. And we would have had a huge opening here. Yeah, my bad. So we'll Oath. Hit a land this time for sure. So I have to take the Forest. And unfortunately, we'll just attack in with the Servant. So I guess the lesson of the day is to be more conservative rather than risky. Because even a Chandra here on this turn would have been pretty good. Still, though, our opponent doesn't have a red to deal with the Servant, so we'll get one out this turn. Or a Jace. A Jace wouldn't be terrible. Kiora, Arlinn. Arlinn, I think, would be better. Another Attune. So he's got the Marvel. Ready to go. I think I'll go for Nahiri. Or Kiora can help. Kiora can actually help ramp us. It's all depending. Jace can draw us cards. Nahiri seems like the better. I don't think there's any bad pick here. I'm going to go with Kiora. Because next turn it's going to allow me to... I could generate 3 mana, but that's not enough. Next turn, it's going to allow me to do multiple cards. And we're going to go ahead and reveal. And we're going to just get the plains. And that did hit. Didn't hit us a creature. But we next turn can go Chandra and Kiora can add 2 mana. Chandra can add 2 mana. So we can go Nahiri. So if his Aetherworks Marvel in our opponent's hand with triple Attune, he can just miss off of it. Harness Lightning, yeah, that's fine. So if he would have had Marvel in his hand, that would have been the time. Quads on the Attune. Well, that's a thing. So I think Jace is the right play here. Possibly Nahiri, possibly Chandra. Gideon's also a decent little play. But Chandra, yeah, Chandra can add 2. 3, 4. So I think it's Chandra and Arlinn. So this adds 2, 3, 4, yeah. So add some red. Or Gideon. Which is better? Gideon's better. So far, so good. We have 3 Planeswalkers out. We have Gideon that is going to become quite powerful. We have a Jace. And our opponent has to find an Aetherworks Marvel. No play. Okay. There's a Deploy the Gatewatch. I think that we want to attack in with Gideon for sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. With the Chandra. I think I'd rather have Arlinn out though. At this point, Arlinn and Nahiri. And this Arlinn could give Vigilance and Haste to something. No, I could actually create another token, give it Vigilance, Haste, attacking for 6. This pumps up. This would be another 2/2 out. Ishkanah is a thing. Radiant Flames is a thing. Yeah, so let's go ahead and Arlinn. And then create a 2/2 plus Gideon up and attack in. I still think it's actually just pumping up Gideon is probably the right play. This is 9 damage, which is pretty quick of a clock for the following turn. Here we can go add 2 mana again. And untap. And then we can cast Nahiri. And just plus Nahiri. I don't think we want to discard anything. I think everything is fine in our hand. So now our opponent needs to basically Hail Mary a Emrakul. It doesn't have Delirium yet for Ishkanah, just instant and sorcering land. So even if, there's no way Ishkanah comes out. It just ends up being one of those weird Aetherworks Marvel hands without the energy or the Delirium necessary. So there's the concession. And I don't need to put much in the sideboard here. I think the only thing that comes in is just Sigarda. Chandra is okay-ish against this deck. Might just be better than... I think that we want to keep as much ramp as possible. So the slower cards, like the Dovin is pretty bad, I would say, but it can start drawing a bunch of cards. It's, you know, after the +1 and the -1, it's 0.5 cards and 1 life per turn, basically. You're never going to use it for the -3 unless there's a servant that I want to kind of nerf down, which I don't think is going to end up happening that often. Kiora, I think, is fine in this one, and I think that Chandra's just quick, and it's great in this type of mirror. I think that the other card that we want to take out would be between just a Kiora. No, I think Kiora even ramping is still fine. Nahiri is amazing. Arlinn is okay. Arlinn's good. It can put out a 2/2 and then start making the other creatures, like even Chandra's, bigger. I think Nissa is probably... No, Nissa's fine too because it's fast. We do want Ob Nixilis. We want Sorin can be used against us, but I think it's quite powerful. So maybe just one Kiora can come out here. Kiora is a card that actually I'm less impressed with. I mean, it was really good with the Deathcap Cultivator serving the Conduit. Oath of Nissa with a bunch of lands. We're going to ship this one back. And we'll keep the Sigarda. And then we'll keep the... I'm going to bottom the Kiora. Just because I want to hit more lands. So I want to get Sigarda out as quick as possible. Sigarda survives both the Chandra... survives the Chandra... Survives the, like, a Radiant Flames on 3, of course. Survives most of the Harness Lighting. If they need to be using Harness Lighting, they have to put 2 more energy into it. And so I'm okay with that trade. There's a Vessel. There's an energy for the Vessel, though, so that's very, very awkward. And we do get the Forest. We'll Attune. I'm actually going to go get a... I'm going to go get a Plains just so I can guarantee to cast Gideon. And there's the other Aether Hub. Had to be used as a green for the Vessel. And there's a Servant. So there's 2 more energy, but another energy was spent. So we'll play a Servant of our own. Pass the turn. It's off the races who can get their cards assembled quicker. Sigarda is going to play a very pivotal role here, though, if our opponent does have the Marvel. And that does have to come into play tap, so no Marvel out this turn. Can't easily sacrifice the Vessel. He's going to Harness Lightning my Servant. It does keep me back a turn. There's the Deploy the Gatewatch. We're going to Attune. I think at this point I just go get an island because we have all the other colors. A mountain is actually probably more efficient. And that did successfully slow me down, but it also did slow down his Marvel. Especially if he Marvels this turn, he'll have to use another energy off the Servant. It's going to be a Chandra, it looks like. He's using both of his energies. Yep. The card's not too scary. He'll just exile a card, do some damage to me. Or could be adding 2 red and just harness his own Servant for some more energy. I'm surprised he just didn't want to exile a card. He doesn't know what's on top. So here we can go Canopy Vista, Gideon. And now he's got to try to figure out a way to protect his Chandra. So still no Ishkanah, still a long ways away from Ishkanah. The best thing you can do is harness lightning on the knight, and then use the Chandra exile, and then the servant. It's going to be Attune off Chandra. Which finds him 2 more energy. And then crack the vessel. And does find a marvel. And our opponent, what did our opponent take here, though? So our opponent puts Aether Marvel in hand. Okay. So, we get another Plains. Of course, that's not what I wanted. Attacking into Chandra is kind of awkward, but I still think it's the right choice. I'll have to lose a servant here to keep his Chandra alive. And now we have Hexproof. So far so good. So an Emrakul coming out is pretty good, except Deploy can hit the Ob Nixilis or a Jace or a Tamiyo. And he doesn't even close to have the energy yet. A Woodweaver's Puzzle Knot can come out this turn with the Chandra, taking up the Chandra, but it looks like losing Chandra's a thing here. I can actually Emblem Gideon now and attack into Chandra as well with the Sigarda. And it's Ishkanah. So Ishkanah does have Delirium, thanks to the creature that was put into the graveyard. There's another Sigarda, so I could kill off. No, it's definitely going to be Deploy the Gatewatch here. If I were to Emblem Gideon, let's actually see what the Deploy the Gatewatch hits. Well, that's terrible. Chandra Flamecaller is not horrid. The Chandra Torch of Defiance is just plain worse. If I Emblem Gideon, and I won't put the other one because I have to choose a Chandra. So that's the problem with running both Chandras. If I Emblem, I think I will Emblem here. Because then I just have to go with a -2 to all creatures. That means the Sigarda survives. Yes, so we'll do it for 2. And see if he wants to keep Chandra alive for Ishkanah. Okay, so Chandra does stay alive, but there's an Ishkanah dead with a Gideon and a Chandra Flamecaller emblemed out. So, and without any energy, with a Marvel in hand. Looks pretty good. Up to 11 mana, 12, 13. So 5 from the Delirium. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So Emrakul could come down here. Which appears is what's going to happen. I'm going to go Marvel. Okay, so Marvel's not nearly as threatening. And a Servant of the Conduit. Again, not very threatening. Another Deploy the Gatewatch. Of course, that's better than most of my options here. So Gideon can come in. I think we'll deploy right now. And we get two awesome ones with Arlinn and... So Arlinn can actually give a creature... this creature +2/+2. If I just decide to go for a 2/2 off Gideon. Or I think I'll just create a creature. And... like a -2 Chandra. We're going to make some creatures for sure. Three, 6. So you could kill... Sigarda could die to a Harness Lightning. So giving haste to a Gideon token puts out another threat. I think that's actually smart. Everything out of my opponent. He'll block the 5/5. Go down to a 4. And we'll untap and untap. This gives us another exile for Sigarda, which ends up being a 2/2 human. And even Emrakul here, like Harness Lightning Emrakul there, just didn't get he used a lot of his energy early on. That does allow for a Marvel trigger here. But Emrakul is definitely not the worst thing in the world to happen. Same thing with Ulamog. Ulamog is good. He'll kill Sigarda and probably Chandra. Chandra can actually kill Gideon. So yeah, Ulamog is pretty significant. That I don't think was the right choice, because he could have just killed Gideon. He needed to kill Chandra, the Flamecaller. And then just plus the Chandra and do the 2 damage to Gideon, which he should have been doing this entire time rather than just adding the red mana. Because Gideon would have been dead there, Chandra would have been dead here. I'd been left with an Arlinn Cord. He still would have 2 blockers. Yeah, that'd actually work. And he goes for Arlinn, which ends up not being the greatest target either. So I think I just went here with the plussing of Chandra. We'll overkill it here. And there's the concession. So, wow, actually worked out for us. Ended up going 2-2 with the deck. And funny thing is, we won against the 2 actually legit decks. The number 1 and number 2 deck, the U-White. And they did have kind of weird draws, kind of, I wouldn't say either one of those. We didn't get turn 4 Emerald, or the Spellcore locked out by the either white-blue or the Aetherworks Marvel deck. And yeah, so that doesn't happen. I mean, it happens more than often. It's pretty average that those type of hands happen. The double Spellcore, the Aetherworks Marvel turn 4, or even turn 5 into Emrakul. But it did show that at least this deck can compete against. Did a lot better than I expected it. I think the only changes I'd make to the deck is probably go less Kioras. I think 2 is probably the right number. And then up in the Chandra counts. And then up in Sorin. I think Sorin is actually one of the better cards. Ob Nixilis also isn't that bad a card. And Jace probably in the sideboard. Tamiyo in the sideboard as well. Could definitely be options. I think that those Tamiyo works very well with both of the dorks on turn number 5 especially, or turn number 4 actually, if you've turn 3'd a Tamiyo, even plussing your mana dork and attacking in isn't that bad of an option. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this series. This has been Kevin with GatheringMagic.com. Thanks for watching.